Hello, this is Wesley Fryer. I am a middle school media literacy teacher here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I am delighted to welcome you to our course on teaching the conspiracies. What I'd like to do in this short introductory video is give you a little overview of our course, what to expect each week, and then what we'll be talking about in each of the 6 weeks that we will have together, and then hopefully beyond, because this has been an inquiry project for me since 2019 and it is ongoing. It is something that I want to continue learning about, continue teaching about, and an important way that I continue to learn about this is by being connected to a lot of folks who have similar kinds of interests. So what I would like to do is go ahead and share my slides with you. In the description of our course, of course, we said that we're going to focus on the web literacy framework SIFT, learning to stop, investigate the source, find trusted coverage, and trace to the original. And one of the most important parts of that I'm excited to share with you is a lesson series, a unit that I've been teaching called Fruit Loop Conspiracy Theories. Because as I'll talk about in the goals, one of the first things we hopefully are going to do is teach others about these topics without being fired and without, creating a lot of drama and controversy around the teaching of critical thinking and web and media literacy. And so the Apollo moon landings are a topic that are not as controversial as a lot of contemporary political conspiracy theories. And so we can use that historical event and the conspiracy theories which have grown around it and which sadly have been popularized through social media and other factors as a way to investigate the SIFT web literacy framework, learn some really good skills like lateral reading, and learn some of the characteristics of what I would call the fringe or the Fruit Loop conspiracy theories, and hopefully avoid being drawn down a rabbit hole and develop some really good strategies on how to identify and find trusted sources and vet information. So the goals of this course, number one, to, as I said, learn about conspiracy theories without getting fired. Second, to better understand what I would call our conspiracy polluted culture. I like the description of our media landscape as fractured because it's really split into so many different voices today, and it's very polluted. And among that pollution, we have a lot of conspiracy theories. But we've actually had conspiracy theories for a long time. That isn't something that is brand new, but the velocity with which these are shared and the ways in which social media specifically continues to be weaponized to share conspiracy theories is something that is qualitatively different than what we've seen in the past. I want to identify developmentally appropriate lessons that you and I can teach about conspiracy theories. And so this is going to vary depending upon your educational context. We'll have some folks that are teaching university students and adult learners, some teaching high school, some teaching middle school, as I am. So it's going to vary, but I think we'll be able to find some common threads and some common lesson ideas. I also think that using and practicing the SIFT web literacy framework is really, really excellent, whether you're starting with younger students, as I am in middle school, or whether you're working with older students and adults. And I also really, really think that having an opportunity to be a student in someone's class and someone's lessons and seeing that lesson flow, experiencing it, not just looking at it from afar, but really experiencing it can be valuable. And so that's what I'm going to invite you into in this course. And so in week one, we're going to be introduced to the world of conspiracy theories. This is our, of course, introductory lesson for week one. But what I'm going to share each week is going to be some what I'll call required media. And so I'd ask you to read the articles, listen to the podcasts, watch the videos, check out the links that I'll share for that week. I am having as a goal about 60 minutes or an hour of engagement with that content. And then what I'm going to invite you to do each week after you have ingested or consumed, taken in the different required media for that week is share a 1 to 3 minute video reflection about the week's content. Is there anything in particular that really stood out to you? If you can specifically cite the article or the video or the podcast or the link that you're referencing, that would be awesome. because then others who are in our course might be able to respond to that as well. My goal is to respond directly to as many of you as I can. And as I record these introductory videos, I'm planning to do these on Saturday prior to that week's instruction. So tomorrow on Sunday, our week 1 course is going live. Hopefully you're looking at this video early in the week. And so during the course of the week, if you're able to take a look at those required media artifacts and then have a reflection, that'll be great, because my plan is to try and do those reflections on Saturday. If you're able to respond sooner, great, I might be able to respond. And I can't promise, depending upon our enrollment, that I'll be able to respond individually to every single one of your Flipgrid reflections. But since this is a fully asynchronous course, or on your own time course, learn when you're able to log in. It's not a real-time course. This will afford us both flexibility in being able to learn, but also collaborate and have some direct connection to each other. So those Flipgrid video recordings are going to be private within our class. In the culminating project that I'm going to invite you to do, I will invite you, if you're willing, to share that outside of our class, but it's up to you in terms of what you're comfortable doing. And so the Flipgrid portion is all internal to our class. I'm going to also invite you each week to what I'll call a weekly create. I love this project that my friend Alan Levine continues to maintain called the Daily Create. And it's just something daily to be able to create and share with others. But this is a weekly create, and it's going to be an invitation to create and share a 3-minute video reflection, that was the Flipgrid, just a media product that's related to the week's topics. Each week, I'm also going to include some optional media, and then also invite you, if you're willing, to share some of your thinking and that media product outside our class via a Padlet that I have. All of these lessons that I am sharing, I am licensing under a Creative Commons by license. And what that means is you are free to reuse in their entirety, remix all or portions of this. If you can do that with attribution, to me, that would be great. But I really believe that these topics, these skills are essential really for anyone using the internet, and specifically these conspiracy theory topics can be used with students in middle school and above with a lot of good effect. So the Flipgrid reflection today for this week that I'd like to invite you to is, why did you choose this course? And why is the study of conspiracy theories and teaching about them important to you? What are your goals for this course experience? And again, my goal is to be able to listen to and hear what your goals are and your perspectives and where you're coming from, and then tailor some of my comments and some of this course to your goals and to your experiences, and to be able to respond to what you have to share. So if you will take a look at the link that I have to a showcase of exemplary student projects, I've got that linked within our Pathright. And we've got, in this case for week 1, 4 different additional or optional media resources. And some of these are going to be videos. There's an invitation to join a private Facebook group that I have been hosting for a number of years called Conspiracies and Culture Wars. That's really where I share on an ongoing basis articles, videos that relate to these topics of teaching the conspiracies. I've included a couple videos that I've sent to parents in the last couple years. Whenever I start this unit with my students, which I've typically done towards the end of our semester of middle school media literacy, which we have been calling computer applications. And I think this year, finally successfully in our course catalog, getting renamed media literacy, I share a video message to parents, because I really want them to know that I am not trying to indoctrinate their children. I am not trying to, polarize our class or our community in any way. What I'm trying to do is equip our students for a very polluted and fractured media landscape, to be able to identify trusted sources and hopefully to avoid being drawn into rabbit holes and what I would call Fruit Loop conspiracy theories that would lead them to some places where the content's just not very credible, and in fact, it may just be out in left field, and it's extremist content, and sadly, that content is out there. And today, I think there are sort of fewer barriers between some of this real sort of wild content and our students, even when they're pretty young. So to give you just a really brief overview, in week 2, we're going to be taking a look at why conspiracy theories are popular. We'll be watching a really great YouTube animators video called Conspiracies and Crazy People, which one of my 6th graders, incidentally, back in Oklahoma City, taught me about a number of years ago. We'll be doing a flip grid reflection, but we'll also be doing a weekly create challenge, which will be a sketch note. And I'll show you examples of sketch notes that I've created, my students have created, also a narrated sketch note. And so if you want to get some bonus points, which you're really not getting bonus points, but you will get credit, you don't have to do this. You can narrate your own sketch note. And so one of the things I really love is showing what we know with media. And so I'm going to model that for you in the course assignments and expectations, also in the ways that I'm trying to show what I know with media. The optional media will include the Birds Aren't Real 60 Minutes episode from May of 2022, and the Wikipedia article, as well as official website for Birds Aren't Real. In week 3, we're going to jump into the moon landing hoax, the Apollo moon landings. And so I have the slides from that lesson, videos that I utilize within that lesson slideshow. And then the optional media, I actually have a video of my recording, 46 minutes long, if you want to watch it, from January of 2022 when I was teaching this entire lesson. I teach this in a multi-day, obviously, series for my middle schoolers. And so this is what I consider day 2 after we consider, what are conspiracy theories? Why are they popular? In week 4, we're going to take a look at another great video. We're going to analyze it. And that video is called Moon Hoax Not. Now, unfortunately, the YouTuber that created that, S.G. Collins, has recently passed away. But it really is a fantastic sort of interrogation of not only some conspiracy theories about the moon landing, but just the entire idea that we could have the technology in 1969 to fake the moon landings. Because as Collins says in this video, we take so much movie magic for granted today, and young people particularly who have grown up with mobile phones and green screen technology and CGI special effects might really think that a lot of things are possible that certainly weren't in 1969. So that's going to be our topic for week 4, and your challenge is going to be for the weekly create to either create a sketch note or an info pic, which is a picture or an image paired with some text, and to be able to share that in a couple different ways. In week 5, this could literally be an entire semester course, but it's going to be contemporary conspiracy theories. And I'll tell you right off the bat, I do not dive into these with my middle school students because this is very politically controversial, and also I think it can be somewhat distracting in terms of focusing on SIFT and the skills. Now, if you're teaching high school, if you're teaching college and adult learners, these may be things that you'll want to take on with students with a lot of care. I really think that we, as not only educators, but as citizens, need to have a greater understanding of this landscape and why are all these conspiracy theories proliferating? What are they? Where are they coming from? And how do we choose to respond to them? Not only when we might be asked about them at school from students or from colleagues, but even from family members. These are all really important. So we've got a couple videos that have to do with QAnon and Christian nationalism. I've got in the optional media actually some books that I have read that I really recommend, as well as some other podcasts. And there's probably more, optional media for this week 5 investigation than others. And I also may, go ahead and add content to our course as it's going on. As I said, that Facebook group that I invite you into is one that I regularly on a weekly basis share a news article or a podcast or a video into. And I'd love to continue growing that community so that those of us who are interested in teaching the conspiracies can have a place to share, and it is a private group. So that is not a public group that just anybody can join. because of how politically sensitive a lot of these things are. And many of the things that are shared into that Facebook group are more contemporary conspiracy theories, which is the topic of our 5th week. So finally, in week 6, we're going to have our culminating project and reflection. I am going to challenge you to do a culminating project in which you reflect upon your entire course experience, how it's impacted you, your approach to teaching about conspiracy theories, where you are with your thinking about teaching about the conspiracies. And then I want to challenge you to create some kind of media. That could be a short 3 to 5 minute video, which maybe that's your summary of some of your thinking. It could be a case study of a particular topic that you want to share with students. It also could be something I would call a media bricolage. So that could be a combination of the sketch notes you've made, info pics, artwork, maybe images you've created with artificial intelligence, the images that I'm sharing here in this presentation and that I've integrated into our course. Some of them have been created with artificial intelligence. Usually I'm using ChatGPT now and a custom GPT that I've made for image visualization. You can also write an essay, and an article. It could be something you just share with our class, just share privately, or it could be something that you share more openly about your course experiences and reflection. So the sharing options there are going to hopefully allow you to feel very comfortable investigating these topics, learning more about them, but also recognizing that these are sensitive things and we want to be careful. And I really, I'm passionate about these topics. I think they're so important for not for our present and our future, for governance. It's really important, I think, that we have a shared sense of reality. If we're going to have a representative democracy where we compromise and we navigate and negotiate what it is that government should do and not do, and how things should be regulated and taxed and all of that. This is really important from a civics standpoint and for democracy and for the future of our country. So I want to thank you for joining us. I want to encourage you to reach out to me in the Pathright, in the introduction about me, Wes Fryer. You have a couple different ways that you can get in touch with me. But I think Flipgrid will hopefully be one of our best ways to be able to see each other and hear each other's voice and be able to interact about the ideas that this course focuses on. So I welcome you to week 1, welcome you to teaching the conspiracy theories, and I look forward to learning with you, not only in the weeks to come, but hopefully the months and years to come as well. Good luck and enjoy the course.